Hey everyone, it's Autumn, and I figured in this video we're going to do another Q&A. And this Q&A is more so towards like fursuiting, my fursuit, a little bit about myself, and just the furry fandom in general. So, without further ado, let's get started with our first question. First question is, how much was your fursuit? And my fursuit was $5,000 for a full bodysuit, indoor paws, outdoor paws, hand paws, the head, tail, and yeah, that's it. So got a pretty good deal on it. Obviously suits are pretty much double the price now, especially full suits, but yeah, well worth the investment for sure. All right, next question is, did you make your fursuit? And no, I did not. I do not have the skill set to make anything fursuit related. I don't even know how to sew. Maybe one day I'll learn how to do something like that, but as of right now, yeah, I did not make my own fursuit. All right, next question is, do you have advice for making a fursuit or buying one? So definitely, if you're gonna buy one or commission one, look for a reputable fursuit maker. Probably hundreds of fursuit makers out there now, and you just gotta find one that's one, fits with your budget, two, matches the style that you're wanting, and three, like I said, you know, they're professional, they communicate, they have pictures, they have, you know, documentation, there's a contract. So definitely be on the lookout for that kind of stuff. A lot of them, you know, they're just starting off, they don't really know how to run a business. So yeah, just be wary of you know, smaller fursuit makers. Okay, next question is a full suit worth getting compared to a partial? And honestly, that's kind of subjective to the person, honestly. You know, there's several factors in that. It could just be financial. It could be maybe you just can't tolerate heat very well and you just have to wear a partial. And there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. It's up to the person. Like if it was me, like I want a full suit, you will very rarely see me partial. When I do, like I said, it's very rare. Obviously in this type of setting, you know, yeah, I'm gonna partial, but when I'm out at a convention, yeah, I'm absolutely going to be in full suit as much as I can. So it really just depends on the person, depends on, you know, your financial situation, if you can handle heat, or, you know, you're just saving up for a full suit and just want to rock the partial for now. All right, next question. If you were to recommend a fursuit maker, who would it be and why? I don't know if I'm the best person to ask about that. I really don't know, to be honest. Like I said, hundreds of fursuit makers out there. Just, you know, find ones that match your budget, your style. They you know, are professional. You can see some of their work and they have examples so that, you know, you can go off something. Or yeah, just do your research really. Like I said, I don't have any specific ones and I don't want to list any specific ones, but what is the most unique fursuit you've ever seen? Probably the most recent one I've seen is Sven's. I remember seeing his head at ACFI. It was still kind of like semi-built and it was really cool. I was like, wow, this is gonna be an epic suit. And then when I finally saw his suit, I believe at FWA, I was like, oh my god, like your suit is amazing. The colors, the look of it, the antlers, everything. Okay, literally everything about his suit is freaking cool. That's probably the most unique suit I've seen, you know, right now. But yeah, it's a really pretty suit. What made you choose a fox as your persona? I don't know. When I was going through researching the furry fandom and finding fursuiters and just examples of really anything furry related, a lot of foxes came up, and I was kind of like, is this like what you're supposed to do kind of thing? I was just like, you know what? These are cute. I kind of feel like I fit in with a fox more so than like a husky or like anything else. Obviously, now looking at it, I don't really fit a fox personality. Yeah, really, a lot of the fursuiters that I would find early on were foxes. So that's kind of how I went with a fox persona. Just kind of stuck with it ever since, and I don't know. I like it. I like being a fox. It's cool. It's kind of, you know, two birds in one stone. You're part dog, but you're also part cat. So kind of best of both worlds, right? Okay, next question is, what inspired you to create Autumn Fox as your persona? There was two fursuiters that came up quite a bit when I was doing my research into the fandom and just trying to find some examples to go off of to create my own persona. And one of them was Rivolo, and the other one was PJ Sugar Paws. And those were super cute suits, and I really just loved how they looked. Loved their colors, loved their aesthetics about them. Pulled components from kind of both of their suits and some others. Created Autumn, and I probably went through like 5 different iterations of Autumn until I reached what it is now. Yeah, that's kind of where I got the inspiration from. I don't know if that's really kind of answering that question. Do you think foxes are inherently silly? Yes, absolutely. If you've ever seen any video with a fox, they're so crazy. They're squeaking, they're like making all these crazy sounds. They're wild. They're crazy. Like I said earlier, I don't think I fit the fox persona because I'm super chill and introverted. I'm probably more of a cat than anything else. Yeah, foxes are they're super silly. Next question is, do you ever feel like you blend in with all the other red foxes and don't really stand out in the fandom? This is where I kind of joke around where I'm just a generic fox. I just kind of blend in with the crowd. I feel like that's partially true. You know, obviously I have my blue ear tips. You can probably find me at a con if I'm walking around, just look for my blue ear tips. But yeah, for the most part, my suit is pretty generic. You know, I'm just a standard red fox. You know, nothing super crazy about that. I mean, in some ways I guess I stand out, but in some ways, yes, I definitely blend in. So a little bit of both for that question, I'd say. What got you into the furry fandom and how long have you been a part of it? So I officially joined in 2018, and what got me into it was I would attend Comic Cons and anime cons for several years, and I was a cosplayer, and I never really felt attached to the cosplays that I did. I would see furries at these conventions, and to be honest, I thought they were weird. I mean, let's be honest, we are weird. I thought I just had a negative image of furries at those conventions at that time. And then once I started to kind of do more research and learn more about the furry fandom, I was like, you know what? That's kind of cool, actually. You know, it's their own character. They're just having a good time. That's one thing that kind of resonated with me early on was, you know, it's your character. You're the one that creates it. And that really kind of made me want to get into the fandom a little bit more and create my own persona and start going to furry conventions. And that's exactly what I did. TFF was my first convention, and that was kind of like a tester for me to see, like, okay, is this the right fandom, I guess, to join? And sure enough, it was. And yeah, it's just been nonstop ever since. And I'm happy that I made that switch. The cosplay community is great. You know, I enjoyed it during my time doing that, but like I said, I just didn't have that attachment to the cosplays that I did. And it's also a pretty toxic community as well. I just didn't want to be a part of that. Not to say that the furry fandom is perfect by any means, but I've certainly had a lot more fun. I've made some pretty awesome friends and done some really awesome things since being in the fandom. So I'm really happy that I joined the furry fandom. Next question is, in your years as a furry, what's the worst drama you've experienced? And I would probably have to say getting my suit and unveiling my suit to the world. I was instantly pretty much canceled for you know, reasons of, you know, my maker and the drama behind that, and people accusing me of being this and that, and you know, just saying some really awful things that obviously were not true. It really made me question the fandom. The haters almost won. Let's just say that, but they didn't win. I'm still here. I think I overcame that, and there's still some people out there that, you know, they don't like me, or they just dislike me for whatever reason, silly reason that they have, whether if it's, you know, political or because of my suits, or they just want to be a hater. And you know what? I don't need those people in my life. I don't want them in my life. I'm sorry that you can't get over silly little things like that. It just shows their maturity level. Yeah, I would say the cancellation of me pretty much just was probably the worst drama that I've experienced. All right, next question is, what are the most rewarding things you've experienced in the fandom? So, several things. I would have to say friendships. You know, that's a big one. I've met some really amazing people in the fandom. Some of those people now I consider my best friends. They kind of came at a time in my life where I was feeling really lonely. I didn't have a lot of friends. My main friend group that I had for many years, we just kind of stopped talking. Not because of, we dislike each other or whatever, just, just naturally kind of age and separate and, kind of go on our own ways. And a lot of these new friends that I met in the fandom were really amazing, and they came at like the most amazing time. I talk to a lot of them almost daily now, and it's really cool. Another thing that's cool about the fandom is just fursuiting. Seeing the reactions of people, especially non-furries. They're genuinely curious. They're happy. They're laughing. One experience that I had at Megaplex last year was this group of ladies that I think it was their last day at the con, but it was our first day at the con, and they were like, "Are you here for the furry convention?" We're like, "Yeah, we're fursuiters," and we were showing them pictures of each other's sonas, and they were just like, "Oh my god, like that's so cool! Like your suits are really cool." Me and someone else, I don't remember who was with me. We asked them like, "Are you gonna be here for the next like 10 or 15 minutes?" And they're like, "Yeah." Like, okay, hold on, I'll be right back. So I like ran to my room, quickly got in Fursuit, ran back down to where we were in the convention floor, and this one lady was just like screaming and like running towards me and hugged me, and she was just like, "Oh my god, you are so cool. This is the coolest thing ever." And they were all wanting pictures and hugs, and we were just having a good time. And experiences like those really make the whole fursuiting experience just that much better. I love putting a smile on somebody's face. I think it comes from my background in hospitality, where we go out of our ways to make people happy, and this is just another way for me to make someone happy, which is to fursuit and just to be myself or be Autumn. So yeah, stuff like that is really cool. I like that, and yeah, that just kind of makes my trips and my fursuiting adventures just that much better. Let's do another question here. What are the most frustrating things about the fandom? That's a good one. Well, first is the drama. The drama is never ending. It's literally a cycle that just goes on and on and on and on and on and on. It's over silly stuff. It's stuff that shouldn't even be drama to begin with. It's just silly. I would say the gatekeeping is pretty insane in the fandom, especially with a lot of these newer post-COVID furries, and they're all 19 to 22 and think they are on top of the world because they have their fursuit now, and they want to kind of rule the fandom. It's like, whoa there, let's pump the brakes for a second. Some of you can barely even drink, let alone vote. So like, calm down. The hive mind mentality of the fandom too is pretty insane, and that kind of falls in between those two topics as well, the drama and just the very immature group of people that are in the fandom. They have that hive mind mentality, and it's not really healthy. It's not really good. People don't really go out of their way to do research and find out actually what's happening. They just want to shoot someone down just for attention. All right, next question is, what keeps you motivated despite all the hate online? And kind of what I talked about earlier is just the friendship that I have with certain people. They keep me motivated, they keep me positive, and they support me. And also, the hate really stays kind of online. I've never really experienced hate in person, and even those people who do spread hate, especially towards me directly, they don't have the ability to say it to my face at a convention or wherever we're at. So really all that stuff kind of stays online, and I don't take it too seriously. I mean, I'm a little bit older than probably most. Frankly, I don't care. I'm here to do my thing. I'm here to have fun. I'm here to wear my fursuit just like everyone else. Just do what I do. And if you don't like it, I'm sorry, but you're not going to stop me. And if you do, well, I guess good for you, but you're still not going to stop me. So yeah, I just ignore it. I don't let it get to me, and like I said, it's purely online. It's never in person. All right, so that's all the questions that I have. Thank you so much for watching, and thank you so much for submitting all those questions. I really appreciate it, and I hope to do this sometime again soon. Thank you so much for watching. Take care of yourself, and I will see you on the next video. Bye!